Greetings. This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines, and once again I am determined to shed light on the black mayors in the state of Georgia. New elected, I may add. Today we're going to talk about the mayor in Gordon, Georgia. Mayor Mary Ann Whipple-Lue, and what she has gone through. This is a video that I put together some time ago, and we are going to highlight some aspects of a local Gordon City Council meeting. This particular video starts out by saying the Ghetto Free Press and George Boston Rhines presents the state of newly elected black mayors in the state of Georgia and what is not, let me repeat, and what is not being done here in the state of Georgia. I'm going to ask you to sit back and relax, be educated, and see that this is just more than just a mayor who's out of control, who has been called a criminal. We want you to look and think that just maybe this whole scenario about this mayor, well, it just may be a little deeper than what we all think. It just may be about voting rights in the same manner as Equipment 10 plus 2 were removed from office by order, 3 people, by the Governor Nathan Deal.
Again, this is KBCI. This is another location.
Listen, this is Equipment, Georgia.
John Robinson, who, man, you can't beat this fella here, man. I've learned a lot from him. We learned from each other, and he stays with his grandkids. And
now this is an event put together by G.B.R. From the time that G.B.R. came to Equipment, Georgia, Representative Tyrone Brooks, they started to look at how they were treating voters here in the state of Georgia. Equipment 10 plus 2 should have received national attention, and they have, but there's a lot more that could have been brought out. But let's listen to these young people, and just maybe all of these black newly elected mayors, maybe their problems are centered around what these young black men are about to say. Listen.
They're joining us over here today and getting ready for the march. And so we just want to ask them, why are you all out here today?
We are the soldiers of Christ, and we have the right to vote. It is wrong for others to take our right to vote. It's very important. It's our constitutional rights.
Will y'all repeat that again for me, please?
We are the soldiers of Christ, and we have the right to vote. And it's wrong for others to take our right to vote, because it's very important, and it's our constitutional right.
Isn't that something? Now, if we train all of our black and white, African, and other people, Europeans, and every Japanese, to learn and master that quote, hey, we can put in office anybody we want. What's happening, Doc? Who told them that, man? Who told them cats that, man? All right, let's walk on down to the church, Doc, as we do.
Once again, this is in Equipment, Georgia, concerning Equipment 10 plus 2. And as you know, on December 21st, 2010, 10 outstanding citizens, many were educated, many had their degrees, many were professional people, some had even served their community way before this election, and charges under the title of alleged absentee ballot voter fraud. These were outstanding citizens, some of the best citizens the state of Georgia has ever produced. Listen, please. And now this is an actual city council meeting in Gordon with Mary Ann Whipple-Lue. And we're going to watch and highlight some aspects of this meeting.
I made my presentation at the last workshop.
This is old business. We have on the agenda adopt fund resolution.
Now they're talking about adopting the Georgia Fund Resolution 1. Not being from this area, I was overly surprised when there's a difference in outlooks and opinions concerning this Georgia 1 fund account. And we're going to listen to Mr. Eady ask that the account be closed, and of course you're going to hear another sitting councilman who has an opposing view of how this should be taken care of. Let's listen, please. This is Mr. Eady. He is now the acting mayor. He was the mayor pro tem in the absence of the mayor. And he is a very knowledgeable person I have seen. And listen, please.
I feel, my contention that it's really useless to keep that fund there, and Georgia 1 is only $5,300 in that fund now. So if there's a legal signature on that fund right now, you need to just transfer that.
Now, the reading is just across the screen says that there seems to be little dialogue between individuals on the council and the mayor, as well as the secretary there at City Clerks. It seems like there's little dialogue, and it seems as if they only communicate possibly when they get to meetings. That's what the writing said.
Our general fund and then close that fund out to be prudent, You see, my problem with people that are state department, all the going on, when I call the Secretary of State's office, there has been money transferred out of that fund.
Now, this is Councilman Reese, Terry Reese. This is Mr. Eady. Here across the screen it says that the question is, did he say that he called the Secretary of State's office, Brian P. Kemp, so they know about these problems in Gordon, Meigs, Dawson, Davisboro, Warrenton, and other Georgia cities. Wow. Now, this is concerning money. And if this is concerning money, and it is, and if in Meigs, Georgia, their problems all started like Gordon, in that they asked for a forensic audit. In other words, when the mayor of Meigs, Linda Harris, wanted to get a handle on the money to see where they stood, the city stood, concerning taxpayers' dollars, that she tells me that's when all heaven broke loose. And it seemed like the same thing happened here. Mr. Reese is going to ask a question. Mr. Eady wanted the account closed. Mr. Reese, well, you're going to hear what he said. Listen, please. Now, he's saying that a lot of these chunks of money, he said chunks of money, has been taken from the Georgia 1 fund account. Now, why is not the local news media here in Middle Georgia focusing on what Mr. Reese is bringing up, and that is that chunks of money possibly has been taken or removed from one account to another? He even going to tell you about different accounts that you don't read much about in the newspapers. It seems as if though the newspaper possibly, some people believe that it's kind of connected to the possibly the attorney Joseph Boone and others. And so I don't know much about that. I'll leave that up for others, but at least there should be some type of investigative reporting. Now, don't blame me for identifying this. I want the people in Gordon, as in other communities that I've went to, including Lumpkin, Georgia, where the sitting mayor over there, Mayor Gibson, was called a nigger. And yet nobody from the state of Georgia seemed concerned about that. But let's get back on track. Mr. Reese is speaking, and he's speaking about, believe it or not, the money.
The only person authorized to offer transfer with me. And I let her know straight up, I have not authorized any credit for except one.
Now he says in that account he's the only one that is authorized. And he said that he called the Secretary of State's office, and he said he only made one transaction on this account. Now I don't know how much was in the account, but I think that this is what the news media, this is what Channel 41, this is what Channel 13 and other Middle District news media need to be covering. I don't think they necessarily need to focus on the mayor, because if the mayor in fact did take any money, my God, she had to take it from January, February, March, April, and May and June. And so, I mean, if the council members or our form of government could allow a mayor to take money from an account in that short a period of time, then we got to go back to these other years, previous years, and possibly other mayors or years when another mayor served, if these monies was removed from the account, or if this money was not accounted for, or why did they have to have 19 accounts in a little old city with less than 3,000 people? Somebody got to start asking some pertinent questions here. We can't just focus on Mayor Whipple-Lue. We got to go beyond and see who's behind the whip and who want to lure into a situation where she could go to jail for things that whether she did or not, this thing just may be deeper, much deeper than any of us had ever imagined, and I'm not even from here. Listen, I'm sorry.
The one who for $10,000 a year, and I wrote that note, that's the only one that I authorized. And she said, if we close this account, we would not have a ledger or a paper trail once this account is closed. They get $5,000 on that account, this account is more attention, very little. But until we get some things resolved and find out what's going on with the money situation, the board is concerned with the audit going on, this is not a good time to close the account.
Now he's saying it's not a good time to close this account out. Now, can you imagine? How can we have two elected officials with two opposing views? Mr. Edith, Councilman Eady wants this account closed. The one who's over the account, Councilman Reese, saying, don't close the account. In fact, he says a very bad time to close the account when an audit is in place trying to find out if, well, they're just trying to find out if tax dollars were spent or misspent. Now, don't you all, the good people of Gordon, think that that makes sense? In fact, Mr. Reese went further. He said that the Secretary of State or the Treasurer, whoever, said to him that it's a bad time to close the account out because it just may eliminate a possible paper trail so they can investigate, find out if any irregularity took place. So now, why should we just focus on one individual like the mayor? Why don't we just let the audit continue, let what Mr. Reese asked for come forth, and let Mr. Edith sit in quiet right now. And this whole horse is about closing the account out. After all, we under a state and nation of laws. Listen, please.
Can I expand on that a little bit? What is the whole plan on that?
See, that I will not sit here and talk about the audit crime. We know the audit has been locked down on television, but I said.
Now here again, whether you can hear this clearly or not on this particular tape, you can go watch it on another video and you can hear this extremely clear, crystal clear. But what he is saying here is very, very important. And so let's go look up. He's saying he needed 2 weeks. Now, before he said 2 weeks to finish up this audit and report to the council, he also said that there have been stumbling blocks put in the way of the auditor. Can you imagine that? Stumbling blocks. Now, who would put stumbling blocks? To me, it's just like in Meigs. In Meigs, the auditor gave her report, and you can see all that right here on the playlist for Meigs. She talked about how the council members over there in Meigs didn't have the paperwork. They had to go back and create paperwork and try to provide her with what she needed. So this councilman is saying that there has been stumbling blocks put in front of the auditor. I think this thing just may be much, much deeper than any citizen in Gordon have thought of.
2 weeks to come down to see it all, to finish up this audit, because there are some very suspicious and disturbing transactions that.
Suspicious and disturbing facts about this account. Did you hear that? Suspicious and disturbing. So why don't the Wilkinson County Post focus on this? Y'all excuse me for getting emotional. Excuse me. I don't want to be emotional, but I do want to be correct, and I do want to be factual. Now, I just believe that the news media should be focusing on some of the stuff coming out here at this public Gordon, Georgia City Council meeting.
Now, without revealing what was going on, that's what you see the quote, and that's what I'm saying. If you all got calls and all, you can call me and say, but right now, it's not a good time to be closing the account. Not with my name on it. If I close this account, which I was told I was the only one who can do it, I have a problem with closing something that I had authorized to be open in the first place. My name was on there, but I had to deal with this account.
He said his name was on the account. He acknowledges that. He said, but he didn't give no authorization for nothing to be removed. Listen to him. Now, once again, I'm going to say this because I want to be factual as I can. I know that this is a cover over this, and you may not be able to hear it clearly, but all you have to go is go to Gordon playlist, and you can see this, the first generation, so you can understand all of it. I am so happy that this councilman is in place and alive to say what he's saying here now. Now, it's up to the good people of Gordon, to the Secretary of State, the Governor of the state of Georgia, Georgia Attorney General, and the good people of our beloved republic to do, say, and investigate this. Don't just focus on Mayor Whipple-Lue. Focus on the beef of this situation. Once again, January, February, March, April, May, and add June. If a mayor could go in and mess up a city in 5 to 6 months, there's something else wrong here in Georgia cities than just one person, in my opinion.
And there have been money because I looked at the levy. There have been money coming. And for me to close it right now is not a good idea because the paper trail is not good. Until all can look at it, or somebody look at this, and you get to the bottom of what's going on, the account will not be closed if I have to.
Councilman Reed said this account will not be closed. Not be closed if I have to close it. He wants to get to the bottom of it. Now, if he wants to get to the bottom of it and he's representing the people, then why shouldn't the Wilkerson Post and other news media outlets now requesting information under the Open Records Act, under the Sunshine Law, whatever you want to call it, so we can really find out where the axe is and who been doing the possible cut? This is the Attorney John Boone for the city of Gordon. Used to be, he's been removed, but yet I understand that he's still acting. I don't think he can be paid, but yet he's acting. I'm sorry for getting ahead of myself. We're going to cut this off in a clip. Let me go a little bit further, then we're going to end this segment.
What we need to do is allow him to come to City Hall, work with him, and allow him to complete the audit. The problem we're having is everybody supposed to find where's the money. That's the point. The audit very much believes when the attorney for the concerned citizen states.
Wait a minute. He's talking about the attorney for the concerned citizen. He said that the audit needs to be completed. He said, and more so now than ever. Now what he's doing is bringing up what was brought out in the hearing, where a statement was made about, well, let him tell us. Let him tell us. This is what he said. After all, we are a state and nation of laws. Listen to the council. Terry Reese.
That we are on the verge of bankruptcy. Now, if we're on the verge of bankruptcy, we need to know what's going on with the money. Now, he made that statement, and he ended in the courtroom by saying, yes, we're on the verge of bankruptcy, because the mayor and certain other council members have been living frivolously or whatever, but they're spending the city money. So if we're on the verge...
Now, this lady here, I think, what is she?
City clerk.
This is the city clerk of Gordon. Now, you can look, now I'm not a rocket scientist. In fact, I don't holler not rock in a rocking chair. But the point is this. It seems like to me, somebody is relaying some facial expressions that may need to be focused on a little bit more. Listen to Councilman Reese.
We need to report that the sheriff the state on the post, where's the money? I don't know too. So let's let the audit do this thing.
Did you hear what he said? He asking the question like, some citizens have asked before, while I interviewed them on the streets here in Gordon, said, everybody is asking now, where's the money? Where's the money? But our news media seem like they want to say, where's the mayor? Why does she break so many laws? But a lot of people are asking and looking beyond the mayor, and they are asking, where's the money? Let's continue.
If we want to disengage here, that's fine. But we need to engage somebody to come here to complete this order. We got too far in the process to stop right now.
Councilman Reed says, we've gotten too far in the process to stop now. Any person of average intelligence should ask the same question. And what is that question? Why are there being impediments put in front of the audit? Why don't everybody just say, come forward with the audit, let the record, let the truth speak for itself? Now look, I know what you all are saying about me. You're saying me to go on back to Valdosta. Well look, the reason I'm here because I was called here. In the same manner that I was called to Meigs, Georgia, Dawson, Georgia, Warrenton, Georgia, Davisboro, Georgia, Lumpkin, Georgia. Last week I was called the Lumpkins, when the Mayor Gibbs was called a nigger. Now, I know you all gonna say, well, keep your nose out of it, but look, we as Americans, if we sit by and let these things take place, what kind of world are we going to leave to our children and coming generations? And this is not just about black people or white people. This is about black people and white people and German and Japanese that have put their life on the line to defend our republic. So it's much deeper than just me or you. And it's all about the truth. Now we're going to close this out. It's coming to a close now. I'm sorry.
I know we're all and I thought we just more or less know that
Now let me add right here. Now he's been sitting on the council and he made a statement. Whoever this guy named, I think his name's Smallwood. If Councilman Smallwood made the statement, well, I don't have a microphone. Well, to me, it's kind of like Councilman Eady and Denzler, whatever his name on the end there, coming and filing a suit against the mayor on the same council that they're serving on. I have never seen a mayor pro tem, or who was serving after the mayor, cause so much hostility on a council. I've never seen that before. And now we hear Mr. Small, all due respect to him, I think he's a beautiful human being from what I've seen. But to hear him make the statement, I don't have a mic, don't you think it's their responsibility to offer a motion and for them to pay for mics so that citizens, tax-paying citizens, can hear what is being discussed and said? If I was on council, I would never make that statement. I wouldn't have. Because it's my responsibility to ensure that mics was there. I mean, that's just my opinion, okay? So let's continue to listen to him. But I already know what he said because I've listened to this so many times because I can't understand what's going on here. Listen.
I saw that. Everybody can hear me. My interest in this is, I didn't realize one council person could make a decision on any of those things that we had each one of us look at. I didn't know, I thought council had to make a...
He's really saying that he did not know that one person had that much authority on the council over an account. That's what he said. I think that the councilman is going to respond, and after he responds, we're going to close this clip out. But we're going to get back with some more clips because we're going to dissect this today. We're getting tired of just being one-sided. We want to come straight down the middle. I want to step right on in dead center so I can make the best yardage on this football field. Let's listen to his response, and then we're going to close this clip out.
I'm reading that meeting and talk about and vote on anything like that. I didn't know one person had that thought to close the other account that way. I think wrong, right? And you know, I didn't know that either.
Councilman Reed saying, I didn't know that either. I didn't know that either. What else he gonna say?
She told me that. She said, Mr. Reed, be it known that you are the only individual that's on this account that has authorized transferring money and closing this account. And I said, tell you something, I ain't authorized nobody to transfer about one dime.
Not one dime.
I really admit, the note that I wrote was to make the article so we can get this thing going. That's the only one I said. I asked in the meeting, could we get $10,000 out of Missouri and pay the article? And Mr. Warner said to me, you need to write me a note for that. And I did. It was not present, it's been in the paper, and so we need to get to the bottom. And I was not issuing my name to close the account. I don't know what's wrong with the account. I'm the one saying.
Now he said it's been in the newspaper that he has been threatened. That he threatened the clerk. Now look, he's trying to set the record straight. Now what's wrong with that? And why shouldn't the audit continue? Listen, please.
They said I didn't know that either. But once I learned that, then I said, hey, we're going to get a hell on this. Because whatever went on, I want to know myself because I'm involved with it. And I didn't authorize nobody to move anyone. And we're not talking about $10,000 either.
Did you hear that? He said, we're not talking about no fine and $10,000 either. So that means there's a great possibility that there may be more involved in that. Let us go a little deeper here and close this out. Mr. Eady gonna make a response, and then they're gonna end this clip.
Before the end of last year, how many other people won't have signatures besides you? I understand that the previous, can I have Mr. Brown, who knows it?
The clerk is now handing him information that will show that other people is on the account, and that if the Councilman Reese may not have signed, but other people may have. And so this is a good point that Councilman Edith is bringing up. But you're going to see Mr. Reese still says, well, I didn't authorize any money to be removed from the account. Now let's not play it with in its entirety until we stop. Okay.
Well, here it is, right here, the original.
Could I see it, please, then?
That is all the
Y'all need to get one second. One second,
Me and the man before this was our fault.
okay. Before the first year.
No. She said no pepper. I was doing that on March. Sometime in March of 2015. It was changed. Some of the accounts were changed or something.
It was changed, and directly out of the general fund account instead of being deposited straight to the general fund savings for it to be set up. Instead of having to make extra transfer each time, we had to put it for it to go directly to the general fund checking account to save itself.
But when you say we, who you?
Now all of this conversation seems to me, a lot of this could have been maybe resolved just through general conversation in terms of understanding what has taken place, or maybe a work session, I'm not sure, but it seemed to me for all of this to be done publicly and then to be put on YouTube or Facebook, and just to me it's just unprofessional. But the bottom line is, it seemed like it's just like Meg's, it's all about the money.
No, we said it, but I didn't know what y'all doing. They pulled the train from them. I'm not gonna say it. I did not know y'all trained for it. you pay some. My name is there. But I have not authorized nobody to transfer no money.
Now, I think that should sum it up right here. The bottom line is what come or goes. The councilman just stated that he didn't authorize no transfer of money. Now, I'm going to challenge, and I think I can do that, because I am a person of integrity. I think this is something that the news media in the Middle District of Georgia, and perhaps the Atlanta Journal and Constitution, along with other state representatives, should look into. Do this concern you? Just because we're down south don't mean that we can implement laws and act and do as we want. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Once again, I just had to show this because you need to know the final analysis of everything that we have seen. I think perhaps, I repeat, I think perhaps Councilman Reese summed it up by saying what he's about to say. Listen.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it says, but you pay some. My name is there. But I have not authorized nobody to transfer no money.
We don't have to, the one or the other will do it.
But we feel, I feel the ones that transfer it, let them flow. I ain't authorized nobody to transfer, so I'm not authorized nobody to flow.
I have a problem with that, but the record shows that you, Mayor Turner, and this Brown were all on that, and anybody that was moved before the end of the year, back in the last 8 to 10 years, when the council voted to move all that money, then
we voted as a council as a whole.
We certainly did.
Okay, I got a problem with this. As a whole, the council voted. But as an individual, make sure the record that I did not authorize one penny to be transferred to any account.
The councilman said, let it be stated for the record, and let it be clear that I did not authorize one penny. I don't think you can get much clearer than that. I do believe that there's a great possibility you who watch this just may have a question for the Middle District of Georgia news media. What has they done on this issue? What about the investigative reporting on this? You're covering an individual, but what about the responsibility of the council? Each council member, somebody took an oath that they would uphold and respect and protect the office that for which they were elected. And I have trouble understanding how an elected official can turn around and sue their own council on an issue. It seems to me that you would work with the people that you're supposed to be serving the people to try to resolve the issues so taxpayers would not have to pay attorney fees or be sued and lose money that belongs to the taxpayers. Now look, that's just a question, that's all. Don't get angry with me, okay? Peace. And if you do, it's all right, because in the end, according to St. John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. Bingo. That's it.
You have to the city hall.
Who's the judge?
The same one that's always been, Mr. Judge Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to go and get my things from there. Remove everything.
No, ma'am.
Can't go back in the city hall?
She can go back in the city hall as a citizen, not as a mayor.
Oh, so
You cannot, you can go to the city council meeting, but not as a mayor.
So, oh, that's what I'm feeling.
This is what this is all about.
This is the Ghetto Free Press. And we just understand that undoubtedly they saying she can not go back as mayor.
Hello, how you doing?
It seems as if though what they've been doing in Meigs is now applicable here in
I was
Gordon.
getting it today.
They say she can go to City Hall, but not as mayor this evening. And they waited until right before the meeting tonight.
Clerk's office at 4:25 today.
Who filed?
The Terry Eady, Freddie Dennis, Amanda Bates, and
You call your attorney?
No, I'm gonna
Call him. Before you sign it, call your attorney.
Let me give you all this.
And once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm in the little small town of Meigs. We just looked on the door. I was told there would be a meeting tonight. I came from Atlanta by way of West Point, Americus, Georgia, stopped in Smithville to talk to the mayor there, and now I'm here in Meigs. I was expecting a meeting tonight. And I can tell you what the speculation may be from what I've heard on the street, but this is Mayor Linda Harris. We're going to let her tell you, as Paul Hart would say, the rest of the story.
Well, we had posted on the community center door that there was going to be a special call council meeting tonight. I spoke to Mayor Pro Tem LaVon Gassett and several of the council members, and they informed me that they could be here at 6:30 tonight. But I got a call from Mayor LaVon Gassett, and he stated that the council members, they said it wasn't enough council members who were informed about the meeting to be here, so he was canceling it. I tried to call him back and let him know that I had spoken to enough council members to have the meeting for tonight. He hung the phone up on me. I tried to call back thinking it was a bad reception. He didn't answer the phone, and I left a message, and he still hasn't gotten back with me. But these are the concerned citizens that's here, that participates in the council meetings, and they're here to have a council meeting that has been canceled. So I don't know what we're going to do to get some compliance. I don't know what state level we're going to have to go to get some help here in the city of Meigs. I've called everybody from the senator to the commissioners all the way up to the governor's office, and I can't get any help. They said it's an intergovernmental mess here, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of the problem, trying to resolve the problem, so far as to get my own attorney like they told me that I had to get, being that our city attorney won't support me with these matters.
Madam Mayor, why do you feel, what's your comments about having to take money out of your own pocket to defend yourself on behalf of the citizens when I'm told you don't even get paid for the position?
Right, it's not a paid position. I came in knowing that I would be volunteering for the position. I put in a lot of voluntary time over the years anyway, so that part didn't really matter to me. I didn't know that I was going to have to fight this kind of fight. But yeah, it disturbs me that I have to go and get my paid money. Well, I've had help from the concerned citizens. That's why they want this issue resolved bad enough to help raise money for the legal fund to get this resolved, because they want to see our city go forth. And they elected me as the mayor, and they want to see me get over there very badly.
Okay, are you aware that in Gordon, Georgia, Mayor Ann Whipple-Lue was removed from office for 60 days by order of a Superior Court Judge, Robert S. Can't think of his last name right now, but Reeves. He was removed, therefore circumventing the rights of the voters to have the person that they want to represent them. So as we look at what's happening to her, I understand that after 3 weeks of taking office over there in Gordon, Georgia, that she asked for an audit. And it seems like it's always the money that's creating the problems in these small cities. Now looking back with your situation, I have people on my YouTube. Here's a question they asked me about Meigs. They say you are covering Gordon, but what is the update on Meigs? So would you give us a recap of what you have been through, short form, in terms of what you've been through? Have you been arrested? Have you received any trespass warning? Can you explain that to the people who want to know it? And there's no news media here to report it, so I got to report it.
Yes, I've been arrested, and in fact, this is my second time. I was arrested in April. In fact, it was April 19th. There was a warrant taken out on me on April 16th that I wasn't even aware of. There was a warrant taken out on me for my arrest for the previous administration. I've gone through turmoil. I've gone through my reputation being tarnished. The people that don't know me don't know what to believe. Only thing they believe is what they see on television, which is like slander. And I've been harassed by the city administration, and it's really just gone too far. My civil rights have been violated very badly. All of my rights have been violated. not only the state charter, which I ran on. I ran the campaign on the fact that I would be governed by our state charter, which our state charter has been violated, and I don't understand why the state representatives won't come in and help us and show the council that they are really violating the state charter.
What about your health condition? Did it just put additional stress on you? The reason I'm asking that is because I've been doing this, and the equipment 10+2, one of those girls, the equipment 10+2, is dead now. She had lupus, and the father, I talked to him, and he believed that the stress that was put on her, it resulted in her death, that association with lupus. So have you been under any stress lately?
I have been under stress. I've been to the doctor, to the hospital about 3 different times. I've developed a stomach problem. Had to go to the hospital for that as well. And I've just, it seems like I've aged as well since I've been going through this. But it has put a little stress on me, not only me, but it's put stress on my family as well.
Okay, can we get one of the city council members here to come and address the camera? You have any members from the city council? Did any of them show up?
No, nobody from the council showed up.
Okay, well, the former police chief, what's his name? Maybe he could come up. What's your name? Come up just a minute. Yes,
Mr. Jimmy Layton.
Jimmy Layton, would you come up just a minute? Once again, I've noticed Mr. Jimmy Layton, he's spoken out not for any particular group. He's only been speaking up that I've heard is on behalf of our form of government. And what's your former position here in the city and your expertise?
Basically, I'm a concerned citizen. I did, like a lot of people, voted for this lender here, the mayor. And they just basically took it away from them. I don't understand how they could take our votes and just do away with them. I don't understand how they can keep people from coming in here and speaking. You know, the civil rights has been violated. The amendments, everything you can think of, the charter. They had no council meeting at all in May. They violated the charter. They violated the Open Records Act. They have not replied to any one of us on the Open Records Act.
Wow.
And not only has it been harassment for Linda, looks like, but they've been calling my job where I work part-time. They called my job again last week, a week before last, and they called Post, which is Peace Officer Standard Training, said I was in the city maze with my Pelham uniform on. Well, Post told them I could walk the city streets in Mays or any other town with my uniform on. It didn't matter what kind of uniform I had on. Well, then they called the office and complained on me. And they told them at the office that I was on my own time. As long as I didn't break the law, that they couldn't do nothing, wasn't gonna do nothing. Well then, that wasn't good enough. They called again, I think it was about a couple of weeks ago on a Friday, they called and complained to somebody in Camilla, I think, and then it went to the city manager, and the city manager to the, you know, trying to get me saying I was on newscast with my police uniform on, that I was holding meetings with my police uniform on. And God knows, y'all know I ain't been up with my uniform on no meetings. Now, I've had my veterans cap on, and I've had my disability for veterans jacket on. I don't know, they must not maybe they can't tell the difference or something. Maybe they can't read. I don't know what the problem is. But it's got to cease. We got to put this thing out. We got to get rid of this. We can't continue like this. The mayor does not know anything about what's going on. She does not know anything about financial situation. She has not been kept up to date, like the water was off today. She knew nothing about it. I called trying to find out. We don't have qualified people up here, and we sure can't afford for Albany, the police chief we can't afford him to be driving the car to Albany and back. We can't afford that kind of stuff. and we can't afford these other cars going to Cooley.
Okay.
We can't do it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Now, you mentioned something about some water being off. What do you mean water being off? I don't quite understand that.
They supposedly had a broke line, so the whole town was off, no water.
Okay.
So I was trying to find out what was going on because I've been home today, didn't have to work. I was supposed to work, but I didn't. My wife was sick, so I've been home trying to take care of housework.
Okay. And what's your name once again?
Jimmy Layton.
Okay, my last question to you, if you don't mind, unless you got other comments, is that you have said it before, and we have recorded you. Why do you think, again, that somebody out of Atlanta don't come in here or somebody and do something about what's going on here? What do you think about that?
I don't know. I tell you, I can't. I'm really confused about it. I can't really believe it. It seems like that they're either. At first, I thought it was because of some elections coming up, you know, and so they were tied up maybe in this one and that one. But you know, with all what's going on, you'd think there would have been an investigation called by someone in Atlanta. We've asked, I think. I believe one of our people has sent a letter to Atlanta asking for some help, some investigation. And I don't know if she's heard anything yet or not. So
she said she hadn't heard nothing.
We just kind of on standby until we can get somebody that's not scared to come forward, that not scared of losing a vote, and say what is going on and check into it, investigate it, you know, then that's where we'll be. We need that. But so far we have no one that will seem to have the guts to come forward and check out what's going on down here.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Once again, we see that the mayor is talking to, I think he's the mayor pro tem. She said she tried to call him back and she could not. Nevertheless, we are here to do what other news media may not do.
Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes, and this is YouTube. I'm still in Lumpkin. I didn't know this was the county seat. But anyway, what's your name, my sister?
Mona Hubbard.
Mona Hubbard?
Mona Hubbard.
Mona Hubbard, okay. I'm sitting here with Mona Hubbard, and she wanted to talk to me. She wanted to highlight some of the things that we can expect here in the city. Mayor Gibson told me that she would be a good citizen to speak, and that's why we're here. Tell me something about the city. Now, first of all, I heard that there's something that happened at the city with a city council member. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
And then the pastor showed me this newspaper and showed me that I think one of the people in there is you.
Yes.
Which one is it? Right.
That's me right there.
Yeah, I thought right there. So in the headlines in the paper for my YouTube watch, it says, local NAACP calls for resignation of council member. Sworn statement alleges councilwoman Debbie Stone called Lumpkin mayor a nigger. You know anything about that?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about the city first, and then maybe you can go into lead up to what happened in the situation. Just tell us. We just need to know. And by the way, tell us everything, because it's not just Lumpkin. It's a lot of cities here in the state of Georgia that has the same problem. Let's talk to us.
Well, first of all, I grew up here in Lumpkin till I was 18. I was born here. I grew up here. I left when I was 18 years old. I came back in 95 at 32. And even the difference between from when I left to when I came back.
You came back from where? Where you went?
Well, I was a military spouse.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So I traveled everywhere. So I was, you know, live with different people, all races and nationalities and everything. And it's, you know, coming back home to the United States.
To America,
yes. To America, to see this still going on. It's ridiculous. And even, like I said, I've been here since 95, and this is 2014, and it's just ridiculous. We've had Mayor Gibson, you know, to me is one of the best mayor that we've ever had here, and it's not because he's black. It's just he's just a good mayor. When he was a city council person, city councilman, if it was something that he didn't understand, he always questioned it. He never just went into a blind vote. And that's one thing I admire about him. That's why I voted for him. They expect for this Mayor Gibson to come in and do something that has never been done. I mean, when the other people, when the white people that were mayor, because Mayor Gibson is the first black mayor here, and it's like he gets so much grief and like he's supposed to change the world, pretty much the way they do President Obama.
Right.
You know, it's not like things have not been messed up already, but they expect for the first black man or the black man to come and change the world. We had one mayor that was the mayor and the city attorney called out a conflict, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We had we just hadn't had anybody that was doing anything. And then when companies wanted to come in Lumpkin years ago, they wouldn't allow them. So in the process of not letting anybody come in, when Lumpkin did have something to offer, in the process it has gone down now. So now it's nothing here, and the people still fighting, don't want anything to come here. You know, we have people here that don't even want a library to come. Our kids in Lumpkin don't even have a library.
No library?
No library. You know, and they're fighting with Mayor Gibson because it was a building across. You probably take some pictures of the old Lumpkin drawers. Now, city council voted to buy this building before they even got a building inspector. I mean, who buys real estate without getting an inspection first? You know, really? And I asked them about that. Who does that? So Mayor Gibson is trying to put a library down on Martin Luther King Avenue. It was a area where people used to hang around, but Chief Garcia and Mayor Gibson is cleaning up. So it's a nice area, and the area was donated to the city. And it's not only going to be a library, it's going to be a park and a you know, where the kids can go play and stuff like that. They don't have anything here. But this council person, this is not her first time referring to as black people as niggers.
Wait. Now you talking this Councilman Stone?
Councilman Stone.
Wow.
You know.
If it's not, excuse me, I got to join you, girl. This
Okay.
thing, I mean, I already know we had problems in other cities. Now, this is more of a reason why the governor and the Secretary of State and the Attorney General needs to be here, if not the federal government,
right?
Because you're dealing with civil rights here. So what else happened other than this incident?
Well, she has made the comment, and people have heard her saying that she grew up calling black people niggers. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know, part of the reason why she's an elected official is because us as black people, some of us did not vote. And of course, the majority rules.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean that she's qualified, because she's not. You know, it was a council member that was before her, and it was a black man. He won the majority of the vote. She made a big deal for a recall because they couldn't prove his that he graduated.
Okay.
And pretty much they did that to disqualify him so that she could run. Okay. You know, and she's always trying to stir up trouble.
Well, now, when people say that when they see you talking like you're talking, they're going to say that you are playing the race card. Or that's what they accuse me of. But this is a incident report wherein it documents, and I will put this online, that she did use the word nigger. In here they say N-word, but we're getting now, because it seems like we are returning back to the Jim Crow laws. I guess we got to use it the way it is. That's why I guess you spelled it out and pronounce it.
I mean, yeah.
And so what you are saying is not playing the card. This is
that's the fact.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And the thing about that is, the person that reported her was a white guy.
Yes.
You know, I can understand. We just got a new fire chief, and he doesn't know anybody here, so he don't know who's an ally or an enemy. So his duty is to report that type of stuff, especially by somebody that's a council. So he was put in a position. He did the right thing. He wrote a statement. That's a sworn statement.
Do you know that if anybody called the Civil Rights Division or anybody in Atlanta? Because for an elected official to do this, it seemed like that definitely should have generated some type of attention from some kind of higher authority.
Well, I know that our local NAACP has asked for her resignation.
Right. Okay.
And she would not accept the letter.
Okay.
Our Columbus News, it's been on the news a couple of times. She would not accept the letter. Matter of fact, it was on the news yesterday.
Okay.
And they even went by her house to get a statement, but you know, she wasn't available for a statement. And when she first did this and it blew up, she left town for a while, you know. She's been pretty much keeping a low profile.
Okay, as I listen to you speak, it seems like to me, and I believe me, I've been doing this since that time, it seems like to me that you are very up on what's going on. What makes you get involved in the affairs of your city? What makes you do this?
Well, first of all, I'm the chairman, the acting chairman of the Downtown Development Board. I was second chair, but then the lady that was there resigned. We trying to get Lumpkin to have some business here because there's nothing here for it. We have to drive 8 miles to go get some grocery.
Right.
You know, and people think that Mayor Gibson has something to do with that. But if you had a company that you want to bring here, and I charge you too much for the property, you're going to go somewhere else. He cannot make anybody put anything here. You know, several people have come and seen the thing, but then with this negative stuff like that, you know, business people are about money.
Right.
They don't care if it comes from a black or white or orange, anybody. It's about green.
Right.
But if they come here and they see this division within the town, why would you want to put something here?
Well, the same thing happened, it's being discussed in Gordon. Gordon police was having trouble just to get insurance for the city because of the tension that's in the council meeting itself, and the police, I guess they are worried about the safety of the police officer because it's just a lot of confusion.
Well, Chief Garcia has really came here and cleaned up Lumpkin.
When you say Garcia, is he black?
No, he's not. He's Hispanic.
Hispanic, okay.
Yes. And me personally, I don't personally have too many problems with anybody per se. I'm a point blank person. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't throw rocks and hide my hands. You know, my grandmother taught me if you can have anything you want if you go to work. My grandmother was a school teacher in this county for 42 years. You know, and that's when she was born in the 20s and the 30s when black people really wasn't going to college. My grandmother went and went to college and came back and brought it here and taught generations of kids here.
Right.
So, to see how it changed from back in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid to 2014, it should be so much better now than it was then. But actually, you know, when I tell my grandbaby about the way, and not even my grandbaby, kids that's in their early 20s or, you know, just getting out how it used to be when I was a kid, they're looking at me like they can't imagine that. And it's really sad in 2014 we still doing a race thing.
Well, considering that everything that you just told us and the history about your mom, and for the newspaper to say local NAACP calls for resignation of a council member for using the N-word, as they say, how do you feel about other cities in the state of Georgia that have requested the help of Governor Deal? As you know, probably know, Chris Wright, the mayor of Dawson, was shot. And the mayor over in Gordon, Georgia, been removed by Superior Court Judge Robert S. Reeves, and yet they haven't been. She has not been found guilty. In Meigs, the black female mayor over there, have been arrested twice, have received 2 criminal trespass warnings, been banned from City Hall. 2 of her brothers, Edward and Calvin, been arrested, have received 2 criminal trespass on them, according to a former police chief who had been in served 30 years, says for nothing. And so, don't you think, and that's just a few of them,
right? And
you listen to what I just said, then you listen to, or not listen to, but as I listen to you stating that what has happened here, don't you think that the governor or the secretary of state or the attorney general, somebody should come in here and at least look and try to resolve some of these problems, or at least say to the world and to the other cities in Georgia that we concerned?
Yes, that's a major concern, because to me, history is not going to repeat itself, because that would never be allowed. But for the powers that be up in Atlanta, Governor Dillon, they need to take heed. I mean, you cannot know that this is not happening. You know, it's time to put their foot down, because, you know, if I'm in office, I'm going to do the right thing. at least look into it to see what's going on. This is too widespread. This is not just Lumpkin. This is all these small little, you know, small communities that have black mayors there.
Right, right.
You know.
So say that once again, because I've been saying it, and yet the new Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, NAACP, SCLC, Urban League, Gabby Yo, which I got the highest respect, supposed to be in Savannah with them Saturday, and others, it seems to me that to carry on the real dream of Dr. King, it seems to me, not only Dr. King, for white right people as well, somebody needs to step up to the plate nationally. Eric Holder, I don't understand why he hasn't jumped on the issue with all the problems that we are having. So I agree with you. So any closing words you want to say before we close this thing out here?
I would like to tell America to take off the blinders. I would like to tell Governor Deal and any of the people up there that we elected, they need to take the blinders off and come and see what's going on in their communities. Enough is enough, and that's it. We're not taking it anymore. We're not going to take us down.
Now, I got to close out on this because you made a statement, and I am a retired military veteran. If you travel, and you say you did, in the military as a spouse,
yes.
Where did you go?
Went to Germany. Stayed in Germany about 6 years.
What part?
Wolfersheim, Friedberg. My husband was stationed in Kirchgoins. One time, the Rock, they used to call it. My last duty station was Berlin.
Wow. Berlin, I bet you got a lot of history there, didn't you?
Well, you know, actually, when I went to Berlin, it was when the wall was coming down.
Oh, my God.
So, I went there with the making of history. I got there when the wall was coming down.
So, I'm going to help you sum this up in this way because, as a veteran, this is what I talk about a lot on these YouTube channels, is that don't you think it's kind of a disgrace for a person to serve their country, and in time of war as well, then to return back to a city in the state of Georgia and have to go through what we thought we had mastered in the 50s and 60s? Don't you think it's kind of hurtful?
It's appalling.
Especially to the
retired vet to come home when you fought for, it didn't matter what color. You did your job, what you were sworn to do. And for you to come home and get anything other than open arms, it's a disgrace.
It is indeed a disgrace.
It's a disgrace.
Will you do one other thing for me? Will you take that paper and hold it up front ways to let the people know that what you just said about the N-word, that you are not playing the race card, that this is something that actually happened. And it has been recorded. It's been documented. We have the incident report there. So the people who want to call you playing the race card by the way you just spoke, calling me the race card because I responded to a phone call yesterday afternoon and I'm here today. Right. And over 3 weeks ago, I was called to come here, but I thought, well, it's not that serious. But the call I got last night, it broke the ice, and so I'm here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Once again, give me your name, and what do you do again? Just a plain citizen trying to make change?
Plain citizen trying to make change. My name is Mona Hubbard.
Okay. I got 2 more questions for you. I just can't close this thing out.
Okay.
So, are you a registered voter?
I'm a registered voter. Been voting since I was 18.
And are you a member of any civil rights organization?
No, I am not.
You're not. But yet, you still fighting for what is right. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Keep it going, sister. I love your courage, and I thank you. And you know, for my friends in Canada and New Zealand, I didn't have to beg her to get on the camera. When the mayor, I was out with the mayor, she said, I want to talk about my city. I want to talk about my city. So she went home, in a few minutes she was back. Now you have, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. And Lumpkin County is the what for this? It is
Lumpkin, this is Stewart County, and this is the county seat.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I would like to tell America to take off the blinders. I would like to tell Governor Deal and any of the people up there that we elected, they need to take the blinders off and come and see what's going on in their communities. Enough is enough, and that's it. We're not taking it anymore. We're not going to take us down.
Greetings. Once again, I want to talk about the Lula Smart trial that are underway in Brooks County, Georgia. I also have some video or DVD I want to share with you concerning problems that were identified
in Brooks County a couple years ago. Today was the 4th day of Lula Smart trial. Yet, no television station, no news media in South Georgia seemed to care about voting rights. And so, we watched in shock and awe how a jury was selected in Brooks County by computers, I might add. And the jury pool was somewhat diverse, but whatever process was used, there is only one black male, only one black person was placed on Lula Smart's jury. And this should not be a shock because most of us have never seen a majority black jury, no time, let alone an all-black jury. My mother said she never saw that, and she was 90 years old. But we know something is wrong when a postal worker that started this so-called alleged voter fraud by seeing bundles of ballots in a drop box and then later finding out that the attorney for the Brooks County School Board of Education hired a private investigator for 8 days to go out and investigate. And if he, like the postal worker, thought that something was abnormal in the 2010 election, they should have called the proper authorities. But no, it didn't happen like that, as we are finding out. And the beautiful thing about it is that all this stuff that's coming out now will be public record. To see how the G.B.R. and others inflicted so much pain on a community based upon someone possibly just couldn't take the fact that for the first time in Brooks County history, blacks was a majority on the Brooks County Board of Education. Today is the 4th day of testimonies in this Lula Smart trial. She is one of 11 outstanding citizens called the Equipment 10+2. And it's amazing how the postal worker could take information off of a U.S. postal letter and give it to a private investigator or a person's unknown, and to not be charged with some violation of the law. Talking about handling ballots illegally, then to have the registrar to hire her granddaughter to work in the polling center as the attorney asked, and without even sending out application to other people, giving everybody a fair shot to get that position. There should be a problem with that as well. Then to accuse someone of mishandling ballots when it's obvious that there's a much deeper problem in the people interfering with the absentee ballots and the voting process as came out in the trial today. And I'm not going to even try to sift through all the irregularities and the impediments and that are put in the way of ordinary citizens. But everything that happened today and all the 5 witnesses that have come before Judge Richard it is indeed amazing how somebody could put some of the best citizens in our community under so much pain by accusing them of alleged voter fraud. Judge Richard Porter, as I was saying, he seemed to be doing a pretty good job of moving the case right along, but what really concerns a lot of people in the courtroom is that no news media is there. No television. It seems as if though nobody cares about voting here in South Georgia. It seems to be a game that people are playing. But then again, guess what? That's nothing new. The citizens in Brooks County knew that something was wrong even before we heard these 5 witnesses come up today and really make mockery of the voting process in Brooks County. Ms. Linda Ford, Registrar, Secretary of State's Office, the Director of Elections, John Boone, the postal worker, Jack Mitchell, lawyer at Brooks County Board of Education, and he was the one that took money out of his own pocket to hire a private investigator. But you don't know nothing about all of that. You didn't know nothing about it. Melba Lovett, Brooks County Registrar, and you should really should have heard her testimony. And Elizabeth Harris, probate judge, Chris Williams, that we left on the stand today, and he'll resume his testimonies tomorrow. And it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And so what gets my attention is that nobody seemed to care. But I want you to look at a little bit of this video to let you all know that what the black community already know, and some of the white right people already know, is that the problems in Brooks County go far beyond Equipment 10+2. This is an investigator from the Secretary of State's office. He's out of Macon, Georgia. He came to Brooks County at this particular meeting, in fact. But you don't know nothing about that because it was a whiteout to the general public, just like this court trial, the 4 days now. Tomorrow will be the 5th day. And yet you don't know nothing about it. It seems as if though the old Valdosta 1860 charter, which was displayed in City Hall, said that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to suppress and abate all nuisances arising from hogs, dogs, horses, and other animals straying at large in Valdosta. And so it seems like this mentality is not just limited to black people now, but to everybody. Let's listen to a little bit of this and let you see some of the problems that was highlighted to Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp's office dating at least a year, 2, 3 years ago. But nothing happened. Let's see what some of the problems is, and nobody seems to care in the state of Georgia. And this includes the Secretary of State. And by the way, don't call me names, because this is not me on this video. The people that you see, it's not me. So I didn't create all this. The only difference between me and the person who you may call me is that I just want you to know the truth. I didn't create this. So don't blame me for what you're about to see. Listen, please.
Mr. Archie, one of the reasons why I asked about the film, because actually and we're going to provide another CD, I guess, but on that CD, one of Mr. Collins and the notarized document.
Now, this is in Brooks County, Georgia. Now, the Quote 10 didn't have nothing to do with this. Lula Smart didn't have nothing to do with this. But the Secretary of State, the Governor of the state of Georgia, could have 12 outstanding citizens. Let's continue.
And they felt that that was, well, I think her exact words were, well, that's minor. It's not anything, that's not a big deal. Why are we getting upset about those things? Again, you know, I think the quote is, perception is reality. And the perception is that things are done their own way and not done the way that the Secretary of State of Georgia has mandated that it be. And so, again, a whole community or a whole voice of a community is shut down because perception is their vote's not going to count anyway, because if they can change a notarized document, they definitely can change ballots, be it absentee ballots or whatever else. And I think that's the point that Mr. Maxwell was trying to make, that Mr. Collins made an open remark on the night of the election saying that there's going to be one runoff for sure. When he made a statement like that without even, which everything I read on the website, everything we did in Lowndes County and Thomas County, the absentee ballots that were already in place were counted before we even broke it. And that was even something on the website that said it was going to be done. Absentee ballots were going to be done first. But to make a comment like that is to almost say that I know what I can do to assure that this is going to be a runoff. Again, it's just a perception. When you say that out loud to folks, then first thing Mr. Maxwell or anyone else within earshot feels like, well, they're going to try to manipulate the process. And again, those, whether it was a joke or whether it was serious or whether it was maliciously done, though he has to be above reproach on anything like that. He has to be the most impartial person in the town. That's right. And he has done the exact opposite.
He proudly displays that he is a staunch conservative Republican, which negates trust as a Democrat that we will get any type of justice with him. He bends over backwards to assist Republican voters and will do everything within his power to discourage Democrats.
These people are spilling their guts. They are speaking sincere to this particular investigator. They think that they are going to be heard and that somebody's going to follow up on the problems in Brooks County concerning the voting. J.C. Cunningham was a candidate running for state office in this 175th district. I'm not sure, I think it is. But the point is that these people thought that the Secretary of State would get concerned and be concerned about trying to fix the real problem in Brooks County. But from what they tell me, they were sadly mistaken. This is Fannie Gibbs, an outstanding person in the community, and let's listen.
Participation in an election process.
The one thing that really disturbed me, because when we had all the mishaps, that's right, in District 5, with the wrong absentee ballot, going out, and my name was nowhere on the ballot, and took a street, you understand, was legal.
This is County Commissioner James Maxwell, a Vietnam disabled veteran who served his nation well. He now serves on the Board of Commissioners now. He's one of the best commissioners, I believe, that Brooks County have had in a long time. Listen, please.
Which is in the heart of District 5, and that whole street was redistricted, you understand, out of my district into another district. And we went by and worked with Valdosta over there and with the state, And we thought everything was smooth, you understand? And then all of a sudden what happened the day of the election, people in my district went to the poll, they got rid of the vote, and the same thing, Holland district. Put the little card in there, and there's no county commissioner or no school board. That's right, that came up. So one of the ladies called me up and she said, Mr. Maxwell, I'm down at the poll down here, but I don't see your name. And
now, for those of you who would like to call me a racist or any other name you want, you so choose, that's fine. But let's deal with the facts of this and ask yourself, what did Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp do to assist Maxwell with these problems that his own investigator are listening to? And why didn't he respond back to the citizens in Brooks County? Now, it's okay to call me name, but let's just put that on hold for a couple years maybe until this is resolved. Then you can call me what you want, but deal with the facts of what I'm giving you, and that your news media didn't report this to you. Your Equipment Free Press didn't report this to you. Now, don't blame me for that. If what I'm saying is a lie, then call me on the line and say, George, you're lying. And then I'll get you in front of this camera or whatever TV station you like, and we could talk about it as it tells men and citizens of this beloved nation that we all love. You see, let's not get angry. Let's just deal with what can make us have a better nation in the eyes of the world.
Voting for you, you understand, ever since that you know, but they telling me down here that I'm no longer in your district. I said, how could that happen? You in the middle of my district. You understand? Redistricting didn't start in the middle, it started on the outside. Redistrict moves, you understand, on the outside. That's what happened. I spread further out. I don't come in, you understand, and damage anything within the district. And then what happened, and I said, well, okay, get it straight. Matter of fact, they told her that you need to go ahead on and catch your ballot. Well, she cashed the ballot. What happened? One of the guys down there, you understand, inexperienced, that's right. This young man, that's what happened. I guess they hired him, you understand, coming from one of the stores here and put him directly, you know what I mean, and hollered that precinct. Didn't even know, I don't think he even had any training. But tell this voter, you understand, well, you're not in Ms. Maxwell's district, so you need to go and get on and cast your ballot. So that's what she did. But anyway, now, let me tell you this now. My next door neighbor, that's right, Henry Williams, right next door to me out there in the country on Hickory Head Road, where the voting precinct is on the corner of Hickory Head and Brewville, okay? This young man went to the polls, the guy ready to vote, put the card in there. My name didn't come up. And so Henry told them, said that, well, I don't see Mr. Maxwell now. And one of the workers said, well, you're not in Mr. Maxwell's district. He said, well, how can I not be in Mr. Maxwell's district when I'm his next door neighbor? What happened? So then we had, that's right, another young lady down there, that's right, said, wait a minute, let me get this straight. Now, this is my next door neighbor. You see that?
Now, these people made out official complaints. Unlike what we heard in court today, they took some emails and they went out into the field and used a form and let people talk, and they say it's they received 42 complaints from individuals who tried to vote, etc., etc. So the point that the Attorney King was trying to make was that, or not trying to make, he made it, was that there was nothing on the form saying it was a complaint form. But these people actually made complaints, and I understand they signed them. And they gave some to this investigator, and they sent others up to the Secretary of State's office, yet, from what they tell me, and others at public meetings, that Secretary of State nor the investigator ever got back with them. So, once again, this is the state of Georgia, and this is the voting process, and it seems like the state or the federal government, somebody should be concerned about what is happening in our beloved community.
And so what happened? So now you know what seriousness we had some serious problems. What happened?
Not serious enough for the Secretary of State.
When you understand, that's right. right, and y'all profit and everything, John, and you good for anybody. And then he goes, man, let me see your name on that. What happened? So those are the problems that we had up until the time of the election.
Well, that's the date of the election.
Date of the election, not up to that, but date of the election, you're right.
Mr. Arch, you know, the thing is, I think this whole thing could have been resolved if the concerns, if there was more concern about the civil rights of the folks of Brooks County was paramount instead of everything being talked about equipment 10+2.
Now that was another meeting that I recorded, by the way, that the news media never reported. It was like it was a whiteout. The supervisor there did not know anything about citizens having a right to record at public meetings, and this is a matter of record. But here again, it seems as if though these problems are treated differently from the alleged problem that involved Lula Smart and the equipment 10+2, and we can only ask why. It's amazing what's going on, y'all. And we can sit back and keep playing, talking about he or she is a racist and that type of thing. It's not about racism. It's not. It's about right and wrong. It's about right and wrong, and always have been that way. Listen, please.
Every time I would come to the Board of Elections and talk, was always this thing of, well, we got to make sure everything is above or close because of equipment 10. And again, I believe that equipment 10+2 is a sham anyway, but that's just my opinion. And had folks been trained in the Board of Elections properly 2 years ago, there would never have been a such thing as equipment 10.
Do you hear what he's saying? Do you hear what he's saying? We are in court today, and we'll be in court tomorrow, probably all next week. He said that if the people was properly trained, and apparently not only in the Board of Elections office here, but in the Postal Service. This man been working for the Post Office in equipment for 18 years and didn't even know what the Privacy Act was, didn't know that he's not supposed to take information off of an official envelope and pass it on to a civilian person or somebody out there that he don't even know about, he says, and then provide that information to justify the investigation or the indictment of 12 people called equipment 10+2. We had better wake up, stand up, and stay up. And I mean stay up in the level of right and righteousness. Listen.
So much emphasis put on the negative from the past that was brought about because of lack of training, that no one bothered to it. They were so busy making sure that we were dotting every I and crossing every T to ensure that we were doing absentee ballots properly, that no one ever bothered to go look at the Board of Elections. You see, in this film that you're getting ready to get, the state law says that we must adhere to the sunshine laws. That Board of Election meeting was called. It was not a secretary there. They did not use proper Robert Rules of Order.
We're going to freeze it right there. Next clip, I want to show you about how they disregard Robert's Rules of Order. We're going to pick it up right here. But I want to cut this because it's something else I want to do. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and we know that Lula Smart trial is going on, but then again, it's a little bigger than Lula Smart or anything else. It's about voting rights, and our ancestors, Martin Luther King, and everybody suffered, bled, and died to get this great right, and seemed like somebody trying to take it away. Stay tuned. Next clip. We're down here at the Brooks County Courthouse, and this was the case of Lula Smart, one of the equipment 10+2. And we just heard the judge render and rule in this case. What was the verdict, my man? What happened? What's your name?
Commissioner James Maxwell.
What news do you have to report to the people of South Georgia and
the state of Georgia and the United States of America, since no news media seem to be interested in all this, you're the first person that's going to tell the people what happened in the courtroom a few minutes ago.
Mistrial.
Mistrial.
Another mistrial.
Another mistrial. Okay, this is the second one. Am I right?
You're right.
What do you think about the whole? You were there throughout the whole trial, and I was also. So tell us how do you think it went, and how much do you think this can cost taxpayers? We heard the state prosecutor say he getting ready. He even asked the judge, said, when can we schedule another trial? So how much money will this cost the taxpayers here in Brooks County, Georgia?
It's going to cost us quite a bit of money. We can use that money, you understand, on a day like this here, you understand, to fix roads, you understand? People, can't get in and out, and here we are wasting the taxpayer money on another mistrial. No evidence. No evidence. And they got another mistrial. And they're spending really the taxpayer money when the people are hollering and screaming, you understand, about the condition in Brooks County right here. We are a poor community. Don't have manufacturers, don't have jobs, but yet we're spending the taxpayer money, you understand, on another mistrial.
But don't you think that this trial, what we watched, shows a bigger picture of the problems here in Brooks County? Because we had a postal worker to get information off of official mail and give it to an agent, and then to just another person. And then for him not to know after 18 years of working at the Postal Services, don't you think that's a disgrace not to know nothing about the Privacy Act?
I sure do. I truly believe that. And that should be looked into. That's right. Because 18 years and you don't know anything about the Privacy Act. 18 years, you understand, you should know, you understand. That's right. The pros and the cons, you understand, the Postal Service. It shows, you understand, sometimes the weakness of the Postal Service. What's going on there on the Postal Service. When you have an individual that working 18 years in the Postal Service that don't know what's going on. Don't know the rules and regulations of the Postal Service.
Another point I want to ask you, was it not I'm not from here, but was it not a former attorney for the Brooks County Board of Education, was he not a part of donating some money from his own pocket to hire a private investigator to look into this alleged absentee ballot fraud case?
Yes, he was. Sure was.
And did not Attorney King ask a question about a conflict of interest? He talked about a man named Ulysses Marable or something like that, and how he stepped down because of conflict of interest. And so it seems as if though there may be a deeper undercurrent here in Brooks County that this case has brought out. I think that somebody needs to look at the transcript. What say you?
That's right. I truly believe that.
Okay. So any closing remarks?
But what we need to do, understand, I think that we as a governing body, understand, and as a county commissioner, that's what we need to take a good look at it. Is the money being spent, you understand, on something, you understand, that end up in another mistrial. If the state does not have, that's right, adequate proof of what took place, they need to drop it. They really need to drop it. Because only thing we doing is just spending taxpayer money.
I hate to leave you, but very few people, it's raining and people have left the area. I'm sure that a lot of people is going to get on the local TV stations when they call them, and they're going to do interviews, but they won't come and ask me for they won't come and do an interview with me. But it's okay. My point is that you have been, you was here, you witnessed it, you know firsthand it was a mistrial, you know that Attorney King asked for it because of a statement made from the bench. And we had an agent or a man that worked for the Secretary of State's office, Brian P. Kemp, and he should not have made it. And he even acknowledged that later on in the trial. And so we all was not happy about it because we are tired of it. We think that with the information that came out, it looked as if though the prosecution was really testifying for the defense.
That's right.
Because they didn't have nothing to stand on outside of what is legal and right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So once again, I want you to give me your name.
Commissioner James Maxwell.
You on the Brooks County Board of Commissioners. Where did you graduate from high school from?
Washington Street High School.
All right, and I understood you did a tour in Vietnam, I think.
I sure did.
And you're a disabled veteran, right?
I am.
So you're here to watch the service that you did for this country. You are now here watching to see what you fought for to make sure that our rights are preserved. Am I correct?
That's right.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome, my beautiful brother.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. And once again, this is George Boston Ryan. This is the Ghetto Free Press. And I was saying earlier, it is a disgrace that no television, news media networks was here. And it's been that way throughout this whole ordeal. And I find it very difficult to believe that that would happen under our form of government. I never dreamed that right over here at Walker Street Auditorium, 250, 300 people, and gathered in support of Equipment 10+2 and other big rallies was almost a total whiteout by the news media network. And once again, we see the same thing here. I want to add this point. We had to come out here under this banner here to record. They told us that we had to get out of the courthouse. We could not do it. However, I've been in Madison courtroom, I've been in Douglas courtroom, I've been in can't think of the place up there above Nashville, another town. We've been in many courtrooms, and after the judge dismisses, I've stood with news media cameras, and we have all interviewed. We have interviewed the attorneys, and we've done it all there in the courtroom with the background. I said Madison. In Jacksonville, we have done this, but here they told us we could not record. And once again, I'm telling you, in the state of Georgia, we had better wake up. You can criticize me for taking this little camera and doing what I'm doing, but if you look at my over 4,000 videos on YouTube, over 500,000 views, you will understand that the American people want to know what is going on in their nation, in their communities. And it is so sad that so many black and white people have given their lives to fight for the freedoms of this country. Yet when it comes down to the bottom line, we cannot, and I repeat, it seems as though we cannot get our local news media to do what they need to do. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Ryan. I'm doing what I do because it must be done. And this is the small town of Whitman. Once again, bye-bye. We're gone. George Boston Ryan.